we are finished our cooking session on a very well-known English pudding that probably you all maybe had at school called Spotted Dick. And I bet, I mean, places do actually serve it now because it's always been popular. And yeah, let's have a go at that. We haven't used suet before, and we're going to learn some new skills again today. So we're going to start off with our scales and our big bowl. And we are going to measure the flour. So that's 250 grams of self-raising flour. So weigh that in your scale. I do find grams difficult to weigh. Bring back ounces and pounds. That's all I can say. Right, put the flour in a bowl. And then we need a pinch of salt put in the bowl. I'm just going to put I've got a thingy, so I'm going to just do a little pinch of that. Then we're going to add the suet. So we need 125 grams of suet. Now you can buy vegetable suet, but we didn't manage to get it at short notice. So if you do want to use vegetable suet, make sure you go to a bigger shop so you can find they've got the stock. And it's 125 grams of suet. And we're using that. If you notice, there's no butter in this recipe. So no doubt we're using the suet instead of butter. There's no egg in this recipe. I hope they haven't forgotten it. Right, put your suet in the bowl with the flour and the salt. And anything else we need? Currants. We need 180 grams of currants. If you haven't got currants, you could use sultanas or raisins. And once you've weighed them, 180 grams, pop them again into the bowl. This is really quite an easy recipe. Now we need sugar. So we are going to go for 80 grams of caster sugar. So 80 grams of caster sugar, and pop it in your bowl. We haven't even got to turn the oven on this week. And what's the last thing we need? Aha, the lemon and the orange zest. And they're going to be zested into the bowl. So I'm going to move my bowl here. We don't need the scales. And I've got my lemon and a small orange.
Sugar, Kim, how much of it?
It's 80 grams of sugar.
Okay.
I'll give you a second to catch up. I'm actually going to stir it around so the ingredients mix together. Be careful because it's dry, so it's quite easy to flick it all over the place. And you know I'm quite a messy worker. Right, so when you're ready, we've done this before, but we want the zest of a lemon, and that gives flavour to what we're cooking. So hopefully you've got a grater. This is quite a good one because it's a little handheld one.
Can I point out that when I've gone and bought lemons before, I think I've brought waxed lemons because I've never been able to zest them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they're kind of really advertising unwaxed now, aren't they? It's, you know, they're making a point of saying these are unwaxed. This is, you can see where I've started to do it. Be very careful with your fingers. It's better to do it a bit slower so you don't catch your knuckles or drop it in the bowl, like what I've just done. Oh dear. I do make myself laugh when I cook. Because you all know, I'm learning as I go along. None of these I've practiced. Otherwise, I'd be even fatter than what I've got at the moment.
Thing is, everyone else manages to cook along with you, Kim, and there's been some amazing bakes over the last few months, so you must be doing something right.
Yeah, that's really why I would really love. I'm going to look into trying to get something put together in a sort of a book that we can all keep. Because I really think there's a little bit of potential there, that the skills that we've learned over the weeks have been quite amazing, haven't they? Right, that's my lemon. As you can see, the lemon is now quite white. It's lost its yellow, and I'm going to do the same with the orange, which isn't zesting, so I'm going to go on to another one, which might be what you said, Steve. If they've got wax on them, you can't zest them.
Yes, I've just noticed in the past when I've made lemon drizzle cakes, I've never been able to zest the lemon. And, you know, I used to as a kid.
I've tried a mandarin and a... Yeah, my assistant is coming to see if he can zest. The orange will not zest. All right, Mike is managing to do it.
Mike the liquidizer stone.
It needed a bit more of a firmer hand.
I just wanted the
whole orange, please. So if anyone cooking along, you might find you need a little more help with the orange than the lemon.
Thin skin orange.
Yeah, it's got a thin skin, that's why it's harder to do.
Kim, I'm using 2 lemons instead of half.
Yeah, good idea, Kerry. Good idea. From other things we've cooked, you can just taste.
Really right.
You can taste that nice little zing of the lemon in it.
Do another one.
Right, no, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Right, we have.
Yeah. We finish them. You put that in.
Right, as much as you've managed to zest, just mix it round in the bowl. So the ingredients are dry still, but mixed. Now we're going to measure 150 ml of milk. So 150 ml of milk. I did this one earlier. It's there. And we pour that in and mix to a firm but moist dough. If it's too dry, add a little bit more milk if you think it's necessary. So put the milk in. We should need all of that. Stir it gently. Keep stirring because it needs a bit of a stir to get it all to stick together. You tend to know if you've got enough because it comes away from the sides of the bowl. So I think mine is okay. What I'm doing is just putting my hand in here and seeing if I can get it to stick together before I turn it out. And it, if you can see, it's sticking together quite nicely. So I'm going to scrape the excess off the spoon. Okay, so far, so good. Just washing my hands and clearing up a little bit. Most of that is zest, so I am putting that in there. Now I'm going to get out. I've got this board that I can roll on. If you've got a worktop that's flat, you can use your worktop. Give it a wipe over first to clean it and then dry it. I haven't got one. I've got, like, I bet you can see they're like little tiles. So I'm using this and I am going to sprinkle, as if it's pastry, I'm going to sprinkle some flour to stop it sticking. Keep the flour nearby if you need any more. And then I'm going to get the mixture out. And I'm going to knead it gently, like it's kind of like bread. I'd have liked to have done bread, but bread takes a long time to make with the rising of the bread and everything. So I'm just going to add a little bit more milk to try and pick up some of the dry bits. That were hidden at the bottom of the bowl. Now, when you get it all into a nice, what should we call it? Yeah, it's all together, for want of a better word. We're going to be shaping it into like a log shape. And it actually says in the recipe, 20 centimetres long. But I've measured my steamer and my steamer is just under 20 centimetres. And I want it to be able to go in there nice and flat. So I'm making mine probably 15 centimetres. Right, it's all gone together now. As good as. So back to the recipe. Shape into a fat roll. So I reckon you could call that a fat roll. I'm gonna measure it just to get an idea with my ruler. No, I'm going to do it with a tape measure because that's going to be easier. So that's actually 19. So I'm going to just push it in a little bit more, make it about 18 to allow for the paper. So just squeeze it in and mould it. There we are. Can you all see that? Now, it says, I'm going to just wipe this off a minute. I would have turned it over, but it's a little bit messy to just turn over. I have got some baking parchment or greaseproof paper, and I'm going to lay it across, and I'm going to cut. Well, let's put it in the middle. There we are. Now, what the recipe says is do it like a Christmas cracker, which means you're going to have like string at the ends. Also, leave the top that there's room for it to expand because it's going to get bigger. So it's going to be a case of like that. Can you see what I've done? Like that. And we've got like a now it does say do it with string, so I'm going to be a good girl and follow the recipe. Now this is a different way, but we have steamed before, but this is using a steamer rather than a bowl in water like we did. I think we made a treacle sponge, didn't we, before, that was steamed. And I thought, well, I use this to steam vegetables. I'm quite sure it will steam this because the steamer's a steamer, surely. Just tuck the top bit. Okay. Now, I don't know if any of you saw the photo that I put on, but that's the top of my steamer. And I'm going to pop the pudding in there. And then I'm going to fill this half full. You can fill it with hot water or tepid water to give it a start. Put it on the hob. If you can see my cooker. The water's on there. And then here is the pudding. I'm putting the lid on. And on it goes. It's going to now cook for an hour and a half. So that is going to be dead on 3 o'clock. Fingers crossed. One thing you have to do is just keep an eye on the water in the bottom pan to make sure it doesn't boil dry. So probably, depending on how high you've got it, I would just, once it comes to the boil, let it simmer, and then just keep an eye on it every so often to check the water hasn't boiled away. So there we go, Steve. We have, hopefully, one spotty dick steaming away.
Brilliant. How long did you say it would be? About an hour?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay, that's brilliant, brilliant stuff. So it should be ready by about 3 o'clock, chaps. Of course, if you're watching a video of this, it won't be ready by 3 o'clock. So don't set your alarm for 3 o'clock if you've started off at 10 o'clock in the morning on the video, because it'll be very overdone.
Yes.
So yes, we'll stop recording for a little bit, and we'll come back to Kim in a virtual time of an hour and a half, in the video time of slightly less.